seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome back to On the Pipe Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepherdson, and today is Tuesday, December the 10th, 2024, years after zero. This has been the longest, fastest year ever. Doesn't seem like it's already about to be 2025, but it is, and we are most of the way through 2024, and we are right in the middle of an off season, so sorry for a little bit of radio silence on the podcast. Actually moved into a different house. We're building up a studio. We actually just moved about a mile down the road from Big Tom, so Big Tom's going to be joining me here in just a minute. He's sitting right across from me, getting some bush light prep in before we get going out here, but he'll be making a more regular appearance on the podcast. We're building out a studio in here, and we're getting after it. We're taking the off-road media back. We have been pretty heavy on YouTube here over the past couple weeks. If you did not see it, Caleb Russell is back. We had the exclusive interview and exclusive shots, the very first looks of him on that YZ 450 FX. Yes, a 450 FX. Yes, the 350 is complete rumors. So it's nonsense. You stop talking about it. All right? Everyone thought they had the scoop. Everyone wants to break news before news should be broke. And like the biggest discussion was about a bike that doesn't exist. But what does exist is Caleb Russell back in the racing world. You can check that out on YouTube, the full interview. You can also see the riding clips of him. And by the time you are hearing this, there should be a video of Liam Draper that is dropping as well. We caught up with Liam Draper coming in hot and heavy off of his first look in the XC1 class, moving up to the front row and being on the podium every single round since jumping on the 450. So we spoke to Liam a little bit about that, and we shot some shots of him riding up here at Ranch Russell North in North Carolina at Caleb Russell's property. So be on the lookout for that. That will be dropping here soon, looking like Wednesday morning. So we got some cool stuff lined up. We got a few more video projects in the works. The plan is to bring you at least one of those videos each and every single week until we go back to racing. So we got another rider or maybe riders lined up for this week that we'll shoot, and we'll drop that video next week and hope to keep it going throughout the off season. So be on the lookout, the OTP YouTube channel. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of stuff going on in the off-road world, even though it is in the middle of the off season. We got a couple announcements coming out as far as riders, where they're going, what they're doing. We got a couple announcements that still have yet to be made. But we'll touch on some of the subjects and some of the drama that's going on throughout the off-road world. Before we get into it, I do have to let you guys know, as always, Beta Motorcycles is the official manufacturer of this very podcast, OTP. Beta Motorcycles has been family-owned and operated since 1905. They manufacture the finest enduro, trials, and dual-sport motorcycles that are known for their premium quality and rideability. But you already knew that. Head over to betausa.com for more information on their available models. Find a dealer near you to get yours today. They actually just dropped quite a few new models. They got some brand new bikes that are out, and they got some brand new bikes that are coming out. They turned the 450 into an off-road weapon. So there's a 450 off-road model coming out in addition to the 450 moto bike. And there's also some new models that they're putting out. So check out betausa.com. Also, the new OTP location is only about 2-3 miles away from the new Beta Race Team shop here in Denver, North Carolina. We'll talk about that here in just a few moments as well. Also, as always, this episode is brought to you in part by Zach Tussle at Raymond James Financial. Zach is a racer and a financial advisor that helps his clients win when it comes to retirement and financial planning. We just saw Tussle the other day at the Christmas parade, hung out with him a little bit at Big Tom's house. So right now is the perfect time. If you have not maxed out a Roth IRA, you still got time. It is the perfect time to talk to Zach Tussle about it. If you do not know what a Roth IRA is, you needed to call Zach Tussle yesterday. Good news is right now is the next best time. Head over to TussleInvestments.com or FinancialAdvisorsDenverNC.com. Let him know you listen to OTP, and you'll get a free consultation. He'll tell you exactly what he can do for you. Once again, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to have a ton of money right now, but compound interest, look it up. You're going to want it later in life. Hit him up, Zach Tussle. And then DPG, Dimmer's Precision Grading. They're a full-fledged grading company here in the greater Charlotte area. Actually having a pit bike race this weekend at the DPG compound. So I'll probably be out there riding around on a pit bike. Follow them, Dimmer's Precision Grading. And find the flyer for the pit bike race this weekend. And if you need any jobs done, big or small, when it comes to grading, excavation, land clearing, demolition, all that sorts of stuff, go to dimmersprecisiongrading.com or shoot them a message, give them a call. Do whatever you need to do. With that being said, we got some announcements coming up here in the future. We're gonna spill everybody else's news. We're not gonna spill our news quite yet because we keep it lock and key. You know what I mean? But be on the lookout. We got some stuff coming up. But right now it's time to get into the actual program. And with that, we welcome in Big Thomas Caldwell. What's up, dude?
What's up? It's been a while.
It's been a little bit.
For me, not the show. Well, it's been a minute for that, too, but...
A little bit of both.
Longer for me.
Yeah. I think, was the last... No, we did a call not too long ago, right? I was going to say it was the last time at the studio, but I think we did a call one at some point.
The last time we did one in person was definitely at the studio.
Yeah, in person, for sure.
Yeah. It would have been first part of last year. Georgia, Coker, maybe. I don't remember.
Something like that. I haven't had a true guest on the show since Georgia when I had Toth on. So, sorry about it.
It was after that because we talked about him winning.
Yeah.
Or you know what? That was a call. I was sitting in the recliner at the house. Remember talking about it.
Oh.
I had my phone on my chest.
Either way, we're back. We're back in action. We're back in person. And hopefully we'll keep these shows rolling. I guess I should start out by saying, like, I'm not committing to doing a show every single week starting right now. Doing some video stuff, doing some running around. But heading into next season, the plan is to get back and really hit the ground running with OTP.
Yeah, well, I think everybody looks forward to it. I think you hear enough from plenty of people wanting you to do it every week. So I think the demand is there, so to say.
We got some big stuff going on too, so that's going to play a role in making sure that I gotta keep stuff rolling.
No excuses.
We're thankful for it. We're thankful for everybody that listens. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for listening, and we're going to give you something to listen to and get back on the program.
Where are we starting?
So, I guess we can start with the elephant in the room. One of the best to ever do it, one of the best people on a motorcycle in their division of racing has decided to come out of retirement, come back to racing, shock the whole world when they signed a new deal. That was right, Taylor Jones. Going to Phoenix Racing Honda.
Oh, man. Wasn't expecting that one.
Me either, dude. She came out of Ironman swinging.
With that, with the white pink bike.
Yeah, with gold wheels and pink number plates and blue stripes and
It was a tough look.
a lot of colors.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is kind of so I've been heavy on Taylor Jones on the podcast in the past because I truly believe, as of right now, she has to be one of the most accomplished, if not the most accomplished, women's riders that we've seen.
In the States, for sure.
Yeah. She's
I
not even from the States, so I guess.
Well, I'm saying, but the racing she's done here, what'd she go, like 4 years in a row with getting full gas, National Enduro, and GNCC championships?
Yeah. When full gas was full gas.
Yeah, the real full gas.
Yeah. And so, but not only that, I think a 7 or an 8-time women's overall ISDE champion. Like, it's been nuts what she's been able to do.
It's, it's impressive.
Race
even
Loretta's.
And that time, didn't she ride a 125 in the afternoon race and do pretty good?
She raced. Now I'm drawing. I think she did race XC. She did race XC3.
Yeah.
So this year, Rachel Archer said that if she wrapped it up early, that she was going to move up and race 4-stroke A lights on the 250, mainly because of Olin Daniels, one of the Shoals amateur kids. I guess they battle back and forth at practice a bit. So she wanted to move up just to beat Olin.
What happened?
She chickened out.
She did.
Actually, she had a pretty good reason. She said she didn't want to give up her win bonus in WXC.
Yeah. Well, Stu should have paid her for A lights.
Yeah. Talk to the boss. Why didn't that happen?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if she couldn't go out and win A lights. 250A, probably not. A lights, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Embarrass a bunch of the boys.
And see, when Taylor Jones did that back in the day, that was one of the things I thought about is like, you've been dominating the morning races on a 250F, and then you move into the afternoon on a 125. Like, you got to ride a 125 different. You got to get acclimated. You got to get used to it. So, like, I remember, and the reason it confused me for a second is because I remember wanting her to just race 4-stroke A lights or 250A or something on her bike to see how good she could have truly have done back then.
It would have been interesting, but she did good, if I remember right, on that 125.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look up the results.
Yeah.
She didn't like podium, but I think she did good.
Anyway,
Be cool to see
she's
her
back. Yeah, it'd be cool to see her on a Honda.
That WXC class, man, that one is going to be another tight race because you look back on it, it came down not all the way to the wire, but pretty close between Rachel and Brandy this year.
Is Brandy coming back?
I believe so.
Okay.
From everything I know, I think Brandy's racing over here again. But you look back on it too, and before that battle came down to the wire, people forget that Corey Steed was the one that was challenging for the points lead before she got hurt.
Yeah, well, and she wouldn't have run out of gas.
Yeah,
Twice, yeah.
Twice.
In the overall lead both times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that wouldn't have happened, she would have had the points lead when she got hurt.
Yeah, it's tough.
So
You'd think, like, riding for a factory team, you'd think, right? They wouldn't
you'd
happen.
think.
And in 2 hours, like, I can see how you mess up a strategy in a 3-hour race, but 2 hours, come on.
Yeah. 2 times.
Yeah, like
In the
once, that's one thing. Let it happen again? Oh, if I was her, I'd be pissed.
Oh, she was.
Oh, I'm sure.
I saw her.
Is she
was.
back with Husky?
Be honest with you, I haven't heard much about it, but I haven't heard anything about her leaving, so I would assume that she would be back on the Rockstar Husky team. Obviously, Bollinger splitting ways with Rockstar Husky right now. They just have Craig, so I don't see why they would get rid of Corey.
And did she have a 2-year deal? So she might be signed up already.
Hadn't she been on it 2 years? Or has it been 1 year?
I don't know. It all runs together after. it
Dude.
runs together.
The beginning of this year does not seem like it happened this year. Especially like going to the Mid-East races too. I was at, I think, 34 races this weekend. And it's
This
like
weekend?
or this year.
All last weekend.
Yeah. A lot of gate drops
That's
this
a
past
lot.
weekend. But yeah, like so looking back on it, it's like, man, to think back to Big Buck, dude, it feels like
Forever.
3 seasons ago. But yeah, anyway, so if those 3 are all back and battling, that's going to be a tight race in the WXC. From Corey, Brandy, and Rachel, who were all 3 in contention for it this year. And then Taylor Jones. She didn't come back and win, but she came back and rode good. And then she was like fresh back on the bike and went over and raced ISDE. And I think now she's going to have the offseason to plan and prepare. And just like another fellow we're going to be talking about here in a minute, like Taylor is one of those girls that has that mindset to win. And I think when she came back and raced a few races this year, it was kind of like dipping her toes in the water to see if she wants to do it.
She's been off a long time.
Yeah. And she got hurt really bad. And so I think the difference in her coming back and dipping her toes in the water to see if she can is a different Taylor Jones than one that has an entire offseason to prepare and coming back to do it for a job. So I think we're going to see a different Taylor Jones, maybe the old Taylor Jones.
Hopefully. It'll, like you said, make that class very, very interesting. And Archer got beat, I think, more this year, if I remember right, more this year than she did the previous year when she won.
Yeah. So her and Brandy split wins this year.
Okay. And, you add more people that can win to the class, like Rachel's going to have to step it up too.
Yeah. And Brandy really surprised me. Coming into the season, it seemed like she'd do good in the southern rounds, but then once things went north, it was like, oh, will she be able to hang? Spoiler alert, she can.
She did.
Yeah.
She, arguably did even better in the northern rounds.
Yeah.
I think she had more wins up there. Shoot, I don't know. I might sound like an idiot.
No,
Probably do.
I'd buy that. But also, like, just seeing them in person, like running around filming Rachel for the team social medias for Stu's team, it's like seeing them firsthand. It's like they would take off from the rest of the pack, but they were always together. Those two battling.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you think about it, and look at this year too. You got Rachel Goddard that's been on some podiums, and when it gets gnarly, she's going to be up there. And you got Shelby Turner, who clicked off a win this year and got a couple podiums.
Where did she win?
Georgia.
Oh. Okay.
When Toth won.
Okay.
No, she got second there, but then she won somewhere. She won a race.
I don't remember that. Like, at all.
She won. Yeah, should have rolled with it. She won Georgia.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I remember talking to her afterwards.
Okay.
I was actually supposed to have her on the podcast. I'm really sorry, Shelby.
Add her to the list.
Yeah.
Do you have
dude.
Do you have a running list in your phone of people that were supposed to be on the podcast and haven't been on yet?
Yeah. Dude, if you took the people that I set up podcasts with this year, I actually have a list. If you go to GNCC results and click show all, it's pretty much every one of those classes. So I'm really sorry. It's nothing personal towards anyone, I promise. I'm a head case. But, hey, we're getting better. We're there. We're getting there. Next year.
Let's, well,
Real quick, before we get off of this one, and then I'm going to let you into it. The one thing I just want to say is the point that I was getting at is you got Shelby Turner that won races. You got Corey Steed that won races. Brandy Richards that's won races. Rachel Archer that won races. Taylor Jones that's won championships. Rachel Guddish, who can be up there. When was the last time, if ever, we have seen a WXC class that 5 girls can win? Any weekend, 5 girls can win.
probably never have.
I don't think so.
Maybe Iron Man when Taylor came back.
And even if it was 5 girls that could win WXC, they're fighting for top 5 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Now these girls are winning the overall and beating former pros and current local pros and A-riders, and it's nuts the levels WXC is getting to.
I mean, one of our good friends, Dustin, he can't beat them.
Nope, never has.
Yeah. So shout out Dustin Simpson. He's laid up on the couch right now with a jacked up knee, but it's fixed.
He even grew his hair out to fit in with WXC. Hopefully it is. So, yeah, shout out Destructo. 4th ACL surgery on the same leg.
And he had a, I'm going to butcher this, ostenotomy.
Yeah.
Where they, like, break your leg and put a wedge and straighten it up. Oh.
Yeah, they, like, put a wedge in there and drilled it in. And, yeah.
That's tough.
I talked to him for a little while yesterday, and, dude, it looks like there's a grapefruit in his knee.
Oh, it's huge.
His whole ankle swollen.
He's got chicken legs anyway.
Yeah.
So one swells up a little bit. It looks like a normal knee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta get some meat on him.
The other one's still a twig.
Yeah. But 3rd place in XC3 this year for Dustin.
Yep.
He was bummed out he didn't get to go to the banquet this weekend.
The 16-hour drive to the banquet.
Yeah. I know it's in different spots at a water park.
It's way up north.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Isn't it Sandusky, Ohio or something?
I think it is, yeah.
I just remember Sandusky standing out.
Hopefully Jerry won't be there.
Yeah, or Joe. Rest in peace. Anyway, we got a lot of topics here. What do you want to get into? You want to start with people with deals or people without deals, or maybe I think someone else came out of retirement. I can't put my finger on it.
Riding a different color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it sounds right.
Let's
Get this the elephant in the room. All right. So listen, let me start out by saying this. There was a lot of clickbait people that you never heard of them, and they threw out this Caleb Russell news trying to make a name for themselves. What?
He's going to ride a new 350.
That's what I heard on the internet.
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
Like on Facebook.
Yeah, like every comment that's ever been made. But anyway, it was, and that's part of the reason why it was hard for me to do silly season this year, because it's one of the, we break news. We talk about what's going on. We get the inside scoop, and that's the whole point of OTP. But this one is a little bit different because we got some personal irons in the fire. Not only that, to be able to get the inside scoop, you gotta play politics every now and then. So it was like that kid you see like holding his breath with his cheek puffed out. That's how it was for me to talk about anybody changing teams on the show. But now, the cat is out of the bag. The elephant is in the room, out of the room, however you want to say it. Now we know. Now it is official. Yamaha posted it. Caleb posted it. OTP posted it. So now you can believe that it's true. Caleb Russell coming back to racing after 4 years of retirement and switching brands to Yamaha.
It's going to be exciting. I mean, I'm excited. And, here's the thing. I just hope he comes back and enjoys it and has fun. Because if you watched him over his last 3 years, 4 years, he didn't even look like he was having fun. So, I could care less if he comes out and wins. I think everybody's a Caleb fan, especially now he's coming back because of he's got such a legacy, right? But if he comes back and rides around, I won't say rides around, but if he comes back and he's, challenging for podiums, or if he's, he's fighting for podiums, that's fine. But if he's having fun doing it and being the Caleb that people know off the track, then it's just going to make it, I think that's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
All-time winningest GNCC rider.
Not anymore.
No?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Walker Fowler.
On bikes. We don't care
But
about
now he's got a nugget to chase.
Yeah, but we don't care about four-wheelers. They don't have the most championships, right?
No, two-way.
Okay. But still, nobody else did all theirs in a row.
Mm-mm.
And he's got nothing to prove. If he did have something to prove, what would it be?
We were talking about it, and that's kind of going into it, man. It's like I don't know if we're going to get the Caleb that is nobody's touching me or the Caleb of I just want to come back because I want to come back. And that's one of the things he says is I got nothing left to prove. He literally has 16 championship bikes sitting in his shop that we were standing right in front of. 13 championship bikes and 3 ISDE bikes. So, that's exactly what he said. He's got nothing left to prove. And just to kind of talk about it real quick, we did these stats before, but now's the perfect time to bring them back up. Caleb Russell, over his 8 career seasons, raced 97 races. He won 67 of those 97 races. That is 69% winning percentage. 69% of the time he showed up to the track, he won. And that's just GNCC. That's not including National Enduro. That's not including 3 full gas sprint enduro championships.
Back when full gas was full gas.
Yeah. And that's winning GNCCs, the pinnacle of the sport, at 69%. And you look further past that, when you look at his on-podium versus off-the-podium record, it is 86-11. 86 out of 97 races, Caleb Russell was on the podium, and that is 89% of races he went to.
Insane.
We talk about Liam Draper. He's at 100% podium, and that's 5 races.
Yeah.
Caleb is at 89% over 97 races on the podium.
It's if you think if you put that into perspective, it's there's probably people that go to races, not all of them, that have probably never been to a GNCC and not seen Caleb on the podium.
Yeah.
Unless they went the last 4 years, obviously. But
yeah,
there's probably people that have been to a GNCC when Caleb was racing that have never not seen him on the podium.
Yeah.
And there's a very high percentage that you just said to back that up.
There's also, in the past couple of years, look how much the sport has grown. It keeps growing every single year. You got people like On the Pipe podcast that have done over 1 billion views in the past 2 years, but that certainly doesn't contribute to rider participation at the races. But other things that do get riders out to the races, there's a whole new demographic. Like one of the comments I kept seeing pop up is how many people have never seen Caleb Russell race. When you talk about the dominance, when you talk about everything that he did, there's a lot of people that are racing now that never got to see that in person that are now going to see Caleb on the front row.
And they're like I said, hopefully they see a different Caleb, a happy Caleb.
Yeah.
And if they go, even to like, they go up and try to talk to him. Like, I mean, I just hope it'll be cool to see Caleb happy and fun and enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the keys that I took away from just being with him and talking to him, and even stuff that's on the interview, I don't want to talk too much stuff off the record, but even the stuff that he said in the interview and the stuff that we got, like, that's one of the things that he talked about is he basically got to the point where it felt like a job, and he even said that pretty much what drove him into retirement is that he felt like he had more to lose by not winning than he had to gain by winning. And that is one of the things that drove him out of it. And I think now, he truly does have the understanding that there is no pressure. And back in the day, when you're going 5 in a row, 6 in a row, 7 in a row, 8 in a row, there's all of that pressure to succeed, and there's all of that pressure to be great, and there's all of that pressure to win. And I think now that we've seen him in the 4 years in the training role, and now he's coming back, he's got a 5-year deal.
Which I was not expecting to see.
Yeah.
Even if only, 2 or 3 of it's for racing.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like 2 years racing. And then, okay, came back, did my 2 years, I'm out. But 5?
Yeah. And that's 2 years racing with a third option. So the third year, he can either be an ambassador or he can race. But either way, after that, he's got 2 more years of being an ambassador. So it's like, you got a deal done. You got your family set up. You got a ride. You're not going anywhere. And so where's the pressure? You have the championship bikes. You have the legacy. And now he's just got that drive to race again. I don't even think it's like I don't think that he's coming back to win. I think he's coming back to compete and test himself. So I think it will lead to a much more pleasurable experience. Now he's going to be chasing his kids around at the races too.
Yeah. Is it just crew racing, or is there?
I know the younger two have been racing Strider or Stasics, but I don't know when the age is that they'll move up to the Pee Wee races and that kind of thing. But even Blue Crew is on Blue Crew. He's got a race bike and a practice bike.
I saw that.
But no, man, it's just gonna be super interesting to see. And I had one more thing to go off of that, and I don't remember what it was now. Oh. I do want to dispel any rumors. And he did talk about this stuff in the interview, and I still see people commenting, arguing about it, and it drives me crazy. He did not lose his job with KTM over bankruptcy issues, over money issues. He did not lose his job. On the flip side of that, he also did not choose despite KTM and go to Yamaha. That was the other thing I see. Where's the brand loyalty? KTM gave him everything. They gave him a factory edition bike in his name. They gave him everything for his career, and then he leaves them. Caleb, like he said, tried to come back to KTM, and KTM is set. There's not room for him there.
Yeah.
And so then he went to he specifically sought out the bike that would fit him the best in the woods, and that's where he ended up with the Yamaha. So he didn't talk to any other brands or teams or anything. Chose the bike that would work for him for riding the 450. And once again, all of this was said in the interview on our YouTube channel. But those are the couple big things I keep seeing online. It's like, where's the brand loyalty? And KTM didn't want him back. It's like it all worked out the way that it did for a reason. Like, they have the reigning champion. They have the champion from 2 years ago. They got the XC2 champion. Like, they're set.
Yeah. And if you look at, or if you've seen Caleb's farewell post and then what KTM posted, like, if you left on bad terms or if there was something, I won't say shady, but something like issues going on there, one, KTM's not going to make a post like that.
Yeah.
Thanking him for everything they did,
Great video, by the way.
Yeah, it was. So
shout out Mason Rader. But the other part of that too, in Caleb's farewell post, and go ahead and throw the disclaimer out. I don't care if people say that we're fanboys or whatever. Like, this is the biggest news to hit off-road racing. Like, you got to talk about it. It's the greatest of all time, retiring for 4 years and coming back. Like, if you don't want to listen to it, you're not a race fan, so shut up. But he does deserve the segment. But anyway, what I was getting to in his farewell post, he tagged Auntie and basically thanked Auntie for making him into the mind bender that he is and how he became the 8-time champion. And then on that post, Auntie then congratulated him and said, good luck with everything in the future. So there is no ill will. There is no bad terms. It wasn't a messy thing. It's Caleb wanted to come back. KTM has 4 guys, and this was their trainer that wanted to come back. Everything that's going on with KTM that you can see in the news, it just didn't work. And they actually did offer him a deal that he mentioned to kind of ride casually and still train the guys. And Caleb just said if he's back in, he wants to be full in. So
He don't want to give all his secrets away.
yeah. I couldn't even get that out of him off camera.
No?
No. So he's been watching and taking notes at the races, and he thinks he has a formula. And I don't know what the formula is, but I guess we'll find out at round 1, wherever round 1 may be.
Let's talk about that.
It's a good segue. So the banquet is this weekend. I'm hoping that we find out about the schedule this weekend.
We should.
It's usually when you find out.
Yeah.
But hearing rumors that we might be going to a new location.
Yeah. And a new state?
Get ready to see that on your timeline.
Oh, my God. Every post.
I'm probably going to post some stuff with it, too.
Well,
So
you have to. But let's, that's been a rumor for years. I remember talking to one of the trail bosses, and I think we were at Big Bucket round 1 year, and we were like, what do we have to do to get around back in North Carolina? And he said, literally, find property. So we need 100 acres of flat parking and roughly 500 acres of woods
something like that.
to have a race. And he said, you find property, find a landowner that we can work with. We're in, 100%. And this was when they had 2 big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like,
And 2 Pentons and 2 Ironmans.
well, yeah, but not even that. Just 2. I'm saying like 2 in the south at the same track.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we'll scrap one of these, 100%. And, you get to thinking about it in all the places that we race, in North Carolina, there's a ton of places to race, but there's not very many that can hold a GNCC. If any that we race at now, and then you go to find a new property, it's tough. But what I'm getting at is one of the places that got brought up when we had this conversation was Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also mentioned that Daytona Motor Speedway was a place. But if you've ever been around those 2 places, there's not woods. I mean,
Charlotte there is.
not really.
Down behind the dirt track.
Yeah, but there's a golf course back there.
It's growing up now. Yeah.
There's a golf course there.
Yeah.
And then behind the NASCAR track is a landfill.
Yeah.
And then to get anywhere else, you'd have to cross a road. But
Daytona, there's nothing.
there's nothing. So and he specifically mentioned Charlotte and Daytona. And I'm thinking Daytona. There's an airport behind it and a Hooters in front of it.
Mm-hmm. And a beach.
And a beach. Yeah, but the beach is not close to the speedway.
Yeah.
So, anyway, can we say? I want to say so bad.
I don't know. This is one of the weird ones.
I think we if you can't put the pieces together, you ought to. It's off of
NASCAR in Sweet Home, Alabama. What's
Yeah.
that mean?
yeah.
So I have heard rumors, and this is one of those things too. It's kind of like the Caleb thing. It's like it's almost so cool that you don't want to spoil it and let everyone be shocked. But then also, like Caleb and like everything else, it makes its way out and you hear it.
Yeah. I'm excited. I hope because for personal reasons that it's round 1.
Yeah.
Because if it replaces round 3, I'm not gonna get to go.
What's that weekend?
Weekend after Florida
Yeah.
should be Georgia.
I was trying to think of what else is that weekend.
I'll be coming back from Utah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the rumors that have been circulating is that there might be a GNCC at Talladega Super Speedway, which would be sick. But, like, I hope if it does happen that, like, you get to park in the infield or, like, incorporate the racetrack in it somehow.
Could you imagine, like, our vendor row, pro row, the start, being in the inside of a super speedway? Holy shit.
Yeah. Imagine, like, Moto T's inside of a concession thing instead of the trailer.
Nah, it'll be in the trailer. You know better than that.
Yeah. Gotta get them $80 T-shirts.
But you don't know, like, if it's anything like Supercross, the teams may be in the garage.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
how cool would that be?
That would be sick.
Could you imagine?
Like, in the
Could you
actual
imagine
NASCAR
if
pits.
it was a mud race?
Oof. Probably be one and done. But, I mean, that's the other thing, too. Like, Talladega, as soon as I hear it, I've driven by it, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But, like, I almost thought it'd be like that South Carolina, like, pine and sand. But then you look at it, it's, like, directly over from Atlanta. So is it, like, hard-packed clay, or is it a sandy base? Do you know?
I've never been to Alabama.
Yeah.
But I would think it would be like sandy clay with pine trees. That's what I would assume.
That's just what I think. That's just what I feel it should be. But then someone showed it to me on a map, and it's like it is like right directly across from Atlanta.
Yeah, no, it's it's only like a little over 5 hours for us.
Yeah.
And Atlanta's 4.
Yeah.
So, you're an hour past Atlanta.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of trees around that area, like around the speedway.
Dude, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of nothing, and then a NASCAR track.
Yeah. Dude, I hope it's round one.
You know how, like, now when we go to High Point, they got all the gates closed and locked, and they got signs up that say you can't go anywhere near the moto track, and they don't race anywhere near it. I hope if we go to Talladega, I hope it's not like that. I hope it's like,
Open up
like
the
I said,
doors.
you got to feel it. You got to be in there.
I mean,
They do Supercross on the infield of 3 different racetracks. Why can't we go inside there?
yeah. I mean, what's the difference in having people camping, party in the infield at a NASCAR race and camping, party in the infield at a GNCC?
Yeah. Do the start going out of the tunnel or even like MXGP when it was at Charlotte.
Open the gate.
Well, they took the fence down and you jumped over the wall out of the track.
Yeah.
Like, how sick would something like that be?
So
to go up and
badass.
over and out.
I would say we probably go through the tunnel.
That would be sick. Could you imagine the sound of like one of those C classes with 74 people in it?
Or the utility UTV class.
Oh yeah, need some earplugs for that one. But and like I said, let me preface this is with no internal information. This is strictly rumors. This is strictly things that have been said throughout the pits. Just like people said that Yamaha was putting Caleb on a 350 this season. Don't know if it's true or not. Sorry if I'm spoiling it, but I just think it's so damn cool that we had to mention it. And part of those rumors is that could be round 1, could be round 3. Either way, sounds like there's no Georgia.
That's where I was going. Which, after the last 2 years, is not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's
But
been rough. the past
and
few
to be
years.
honest, like, could you imagine if that race was dry? Like, for me and you, it wouldn't be a problem.
Now it's like clear cut and stuff.
Yeah, it'd just be another dust race. But you put
Mideast National.
but you put that, that afternoon bike race on a clear-cut dust track, somebody's going, through some damn logged trees and yard selling. Not good.
Yeah.
But that sucks because that was probably one of my favorite tracks when it had trees.
Yeah.
Something about
That's
that
where the world ended in 2020, and that's where the world came back in 2020.
was so
the
wild.
Bulldog.
I got bad memories of that one.
Yeah.
Took my first damn dirt nap.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Over in that pine section, kind of behind the mulch pile.
The tight stuff?
We were running towards the pond, and there was a section of pine trees, and I clipped a stump, spun around, and caught a tree with, going backwards with the back of my head. And
It's like worst case scenario.
yeah, it was not good. That was the first time I've ever, that I know of, been, KO'd for, a period of time. I've probably had concussions and just hit my head and see some stars, but, I was out.
Yeah, that's not
Woke
good.
up, no idea where I was. Rode on the foiler back to the camper, wide-eyed, no idea.
How do I not remember that? I was there. I was in the booth for that race, so I might not have known at the time.
That was the same race that Ricky got his femoral artery.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm. And then somebody
remember that being there either.
somebody else got hurt at that race too. That was when Ricky was on the Coastal Husky.
The only thing I remember from that race is the last 4 turns with Stu on the Shirtaco and giving up the inside. And
That was at the first Georgia race.
I thought that was at the Bulldog.
No, yeah, because Stu and Sherko had split by the Bulldog because he showed up with that damn Cowie with ME on it. The Cougar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first Georgia.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the Bulldog. That's why.
Oh.
I wasn't at that race because I remember texting people trying to get someone to steal me one of the signs with the Bulldog with the mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Damn.
Which I thought that was one of the coolest shirts. I mean,
Not at the time. But I was like, to look back on this at some point in history,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be cool.
But you are right. That was the last race before everything got shut down. Well, actually, I think everything was already shut down. GNCC went racing,
Yeah.
and everything
Mass gathering.
everything was still shut down, and GNCC went back racing.
Yeah, they had a safety protocol manual
Safe to race.
that everyone followed.
Yeah. Everybody.
What a crazy time that was, dude, looking back on it.
It was wild. But you know what? Kudos to them for. It was like NASCAR, GNCC racing, and Supercross.
And the UFC. The UFC was the first major sport. The last major sport to go and the first major sport back.
But they didn't have crowds. They just had the fighters, the referees, and the announcers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think NASCAR had crowds. Well, they went back e-racing for a while. But, I mean, I would fair to say.
Kyle Larson remembers that.
Yeah, that shit. I would say that, I mean, we're probably a little biased, but I would say that at the time, GNCC was the largest sporting event in the world.
I don't see how it couldn't be. I know. So
With
Australia didn't shut down for a while, and they were still playing like rugby and Australian football.
Yeah, but then
Aussie rules football.
they went crazy and had stupid rules because.
They went off the rails after that.
Well, I remember when Lyndon had to go home and he was quarantined in a freaking hotel for 2 weeks. Couldn't leave the room.
Yeah, Rachel too.
Could you imagine?
And they
What
had
would
to
you
pay
do?
for it.
You were stuck in a room for 2 freaking weeks.
Yeah, meals dropped off at the front door. Can't go anywhere.
There's only so many videos you can watch on your phone, if you know what I mean.
I'm telling you.
It would be tough.
Yeah,
So
I couldn't imagine that.
that was right when I met Lyndon. And this is a funny story. He was I joked with him all the time. I was like, because at the time he had to go back because he couldn't get his visa renewed or something, so he had to go back home to get it re-upped or whatever. So I give him hell all the time. At the time he got deported.
Yeah.
That time he got deported, well, we had gone out and had a few drinks the night before, and he stayed at the house on the couch. Well, I woke up the next morning, Lyndon was gone. He was gone,
remember that.
and he was there 3 o'clock in the morning when we went to bed, and at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning when I woke up, to phone calls. Where's Lyndon? He's got to go to the airport, and I wake up and I'm like, I don't know. He's gone, and his phone didn't work because he had ended his cell coverage, and they turned off his SIM card or whatever.
Yeah.
So he couldn't call him. We searched around here for 2 hours and found him 6 miles up the road walking. He was walking home. what are you doing? Oh, man, it was so funny.
Oh,
And then he spent 2 weeks in a hotel.
Yeah, that's insane. Actually, we gotta get Lyndon on the show. Speaking of visa paperwork for Lyndon, I just had to write a full blown sponsor letter to the immigration office to get to get Lyndon's visa to stay in America to race.
So is this?
I just read the letter.
Are we dropping news for Lyndon right now? OTP, Palmer Motorsports Factory Husky.
Yeah.
Word is that the previous rider that Palmer Motorsports had, they got the chop.
Tyler Palmer?
Yeah, he started his flying career. Gave his ride to Lyndon.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Is that true? I didn't even know that was happening.
Well,
Last I heard, Mason Simmons was looking for a roommate out west.
so
How about Mason Simmons, dude?
I think he found a good play, like a home.
Yeah, 250 championships, first year out west.
Yeah, and he got hurt in the middle of the season
Yeah,
and still managed to win.
and then
So-
Strang was telling me the other day that apparently Mason, if they did things out west like we do here, that Mason would have won the overall championship,
Really,
but that they don't
the
count
points
that.
aren't the same.
Yeah, I didn't double check that, but Strang was telling me about that because he won the 250 championship, but if you calculated overall points, he would have won the overall.
Really,
Yeah, in one of them.
I mean,
Could be completely wrong, West Coast guys.
you know, I think Mason did what, 2 years here?
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Got
it's
a
hard.
podium his last race.
It's hard to come and do GNCC without riding this type of terrain and this type of racing. Jump into XC2, it's going to take more than 2 years. And I just, unfortunately, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Then you got to show up. You got to show up and send it.
Look at Lyndon. Took him a couple years and he won a championship.
Yeah,
Took Liam a little bit longer and then won a championship.
yeah. But I think there will be a point in time where Mason makes his way back over here. But for right now, if they're going to pay you and you can make money, go to where you're good in the States and make the damn money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be loving it out there. He's got that Sam guy on the Husky that he's out there, and, you know, Gus and Will's out there a good bit, so it's not like you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
But back to Lyndon.
And 2 championships help.
Yeah, no shit. and he's got a ride for next year out there.
Is it still with RPM?
I think so. But like more than what he had this year,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
I mean, he proved himself.
So Lyndon responded to my story that I shared of yours. He said, shout out the local privateers. And I said, Snotty on the Palmer Motorsports Factory Husky. He said, hell yeah, perfect. So throw a little OTP on there.
Confirmed it.
We're set.
I need to talk to Todd. Maybe we can get some OTP action. On the pipe, Palmer racing. I guess Palmer will probably go first. I'm not giving him a bike.
But, yeah, stole the ride from little skinny Palmer. That's tough.
Now you just got to get Skinny to give him the flight down to.
Yeah, I mean, shit, you got
all the
You got
races.
the bike from Todd and the flight to the track from Skinny. That's a deal.
Full factory.
That's a deal.
What other stuff that we want to, get into?
Let's who else doesn't have a ride? Ruy, have you heard anything about Ruy?
No, and that's kind of, we talked about it before, like we want to talk about people with rides or without rides, but I think this is probably one of the most stacked talent pools of people without a ride. We had Lyndon down there, Trevor Bollinger. Trevor Bollinger is another guy that has the raw speed, that has the raw talent, that has battled all these injuries and now finds himself without a ride. I know he was in talks with one of the satellite teams, and it sounds like he lost that deal. Which we'll talk about who's going there in just a minute. But I think Bollinger is one of those guys that is still searching for something right now. I had Lyndon marked down, but it sounds like we got him on the Factory Palmer program going on, taking Skinny's ride. Brody Johnson and Jonathan Johnson. Brody stepped in on the beta team when John grenaded his foot down in Florida, and he had good rides. Like I believe the majority of the time that Brody was on the factory beta team, he was the highest finishing beta. And then John comes back, and it kind of seems like they're going to keep all four of them for the rest of the year. And then all of a sudden, Brody's gone.
And John won a race.
Yeah. Wait. This year?
Yeah, wasn't it this year?
No. Last year.
Was that last year?
Yeah, because John was on the verge. John was on the verge of not getting a contract, and then he won that race, and he signed a 2-year deal.
Do we want to answer this?
And then, sure. Put it on speaker. We'll put him on OTP. Tell him we're recording, though.
Craig. Yo. You're live.
Live on the podcast, Craig Goober Gazer.
Excellent. Let me go ahead and start bitching. I just went to the sports page and ordered garlic parm wings. They gave me Barbelo, so I'm pissed.
Did you send them back?
No, I ate them because I'm hungry. But
Where are you going
I'm
right
still
now?
mad. I just left sports page. I'm headed to get some gas.
Come over here. I'm right across the street.
Yeah, you got gas over there?
No, but you passed a gas station to get here.
I got some 40 to 1 in the garage.
Hell yeah. What's your address?
Craig, T-Ship
I'll
drives
text it.
a Tesla. You know you don't have gas.
I'm plugged into the gas station out front.
And you got a freaking lawnmower? You know, you got gas somewhere. Shit.
It's an e-mower.
I actually don't have a lawnmower right now.
Yeah.
Craig,
I'll probably make a deal with you.
if you're coming over here and you stop by the gas station, get me a thing of chapstick.
Dude, I ain't getting you shit. I just turned around before I got to the gas. What do you want? What do you want from the gas station?
Some chapstick. I was gonna tell you I'd share my beer with you, but with that rude ass attitude you got,
Oh, how many you got left?
plenty.
Son of a bitch.
You know,
I'm in.
hey, you don't even have to get chapstick. There's some in my truck. T-Ship won't let me leave to go get it.
Okay, well, I just pulled into the damn cookies and cream parking lot to turn around. That was pointless. But fuck me, dude. All right, I'll be there in a minute. I hate it here.
All right.
Bye.
Fuck.
So we got Craig coming on.
This is turning into a three-way quickly.
But yeah, we're already almost an hour in. So much for keeping it at an hour. But yeah, so John won that race last year, signed a 2-year deal, and then now obviously doesn't have a ride, which is kind of a weird situation. Him and Jay Lipscomb both had 2-year deals that ended in 1 year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they both signed 2-year deals last year.
That's tough.
Yeah. But, yeah, both of those dudes, obviously Jonathan been with the Factory Beta team for a while, but I think that Brody really made the best of that opportunity to get it done and go out there and prove himself. And then he got back on the Honda and had some solid rides as well. Ryder Lafferty, I think that's another big-name guy that doesn't have a ride.
Man, he didn't have the year that – because when we talked first of the year this year, I was expecting him to be pretty impressive because didn't he jump up at the end of 2023 and do really good? Because he got hurt and came back in 2023 and did good. And then maybe he was even on the podium at Sumter this year. And then his GNCC year
Didn't he win the overall at Sumter?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I was gonna say. He's been winning some national enduro races, and then he was battling for the XC2 championship with Liam and won a couple XC2 races.
But I think the end of that year after a summer break, he came back because he was really good at the buckwheat
Last year?
in 2023. Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't he do the last 3 or 4 in XC1?
I'm not sure. Did he race? Yeah. Okay. So he raced a lot this year.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't remember that
Yeah,
in XC1.
but
yeah, I mean,
I thought-
legitimate national enduro title contender. I would say.
I'm not saying he's not a good. I'm just saying he didn't have the season this year that I think we all expected him to.
Yeah, but I think he was riding hurt most of it.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure. And then he ended up having a surgery that put him out the rest of the year. All right. We got the dogs settled down. We got Craig Oberholzer in the OTP studio once again.
Thomas, you hear that?
This is trouble.
I'm drinking
I
cherry Coke Zero. All right.
Craig and I have never been on the show together, have we?
We can end up sides tonight.
No.
I'll get the limo right now.
No.
You guys probably collectively are the most had guest on OTP.
Who's got more?
That's what I'm saying. I think you guys would probably be 1 and 2.
Yeah, but who's number one? That's what I want to know.
I mean, in the hearts,
I don't know.
it's me.
I'd have to go back. I'd have to go back and see. Y'all
Oh.
boys been my fill-ins when the going gets rough.
Don't forget about him.
Big H.
Oh, he won't let me.
Big H nasty out in the backyard.
Talking about Henry. That's who I'm trying not to forget about. But anyway, all right, so we were just on the subject of Ruy Barbosa, and Craig had breaking news.
Let's hear it. Come on.
Gone forever, Aaron Hernandez. Forever.
Those were his exact words as soon as he walked in. He said, "What are y'all talking about?" I said, "Ruy Barbosa."
I mean, I wouldn't come back either. He's a god in Chile. That's what everyone.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
His family has a dealership down there. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Barbosa Motors.
Yeah.
Shout out.
But, dude, I mean, a ton of success. But just like we were sitting there talking about with Mason Simmons and Lyndon and Liam and all them, like, GNCC runs the same tracks. They've been running the same tracks for forever. It's a different style of racing. It's 3 hours of racing. There's nowhere else where all of that comes together, and you got to know the tracks to compete. And now we've seen Ruy over here for a few years, and now we got to the point where Ruy is seeing the success, and he's doing well. So it would be a bummer. Obviously, him coming halfway across the world, I know he sold his truck trying to sell his camper. Not looking good for Ruy staying. But at the same time, you got to think that if he gets a ride, he'd be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is obviously where he wants to be. But I don't know. You let him stand down there with the success he's had here, and all the chicas be all over him. Fuck, he may never come back.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just wanted to sell the camper and the truck because he knew he was going to be gone for at least 2 months anyway. For the off season, he didn't have like a for sure situation yet, but he plans on coming back. Like that was his. And obviously, he went to California, did pretty good in the Havasu. Super good. Second.
I would say he was on the podium, wasn't he?
Yes. Second. Third.
I think it was third, or maybe even fourth.
Gus was
No,
second.
it was top 3.
Were you talking about the West Hair Scramble?
No.
Oh, you're talking about Havasu.
Yeah,
The
Havasu.
works.
No.
Was that a works?
Yeah,
race?
he got second, I think, behind Giacomo. Did Giacomo win?
I don't know. I live on the East Coast. Never been to the left coast.
I probably
That's-
read the results on the show, but that don't mean I remember.
Anyway,
That's tomorrow's episode.
I bet he ends up back over here racing.
West
but
Coast Wednesdays.
Yeah, whatever happened to that concept? But
never heard of her.
Yeah. So, but that was another thing too. I forgot about the West Hair Scramble. Ricky won it. Gus Reardon second. I know Toth was there, but I think he had some issues.
Yeah, super stiff suspension. He's fifth on the day.
On a green bike, right?
Green bike.
Has he?
That was his 8th
I was
manufacturer.
about to ask what. Not even just manufacturer, but like, what am I trying to say? How many different bikes has he rode this year?
8. That's what I'm saying.
But no, because he's rode multiple different Hondas.
All right, so let's.
Oh, you're talking about physical bikes.
Yeah, I mean CR250 2-stroke,
Old one.
CRF 250F.
GNCC overall.
YZ125.
Or did he win on a gas? Or
No,
a
it was
Honda?
it was
He
on
won
a
on the
Honda.
Honda.
But he's been racing National Enduro on a gas.
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 The Triumph 250.
Cali 450.
Cali 450. Stark. The bike he rode, the Husky rode in Enduro GP,
Hard Enduro.
which
On
was
300 KTM.
Yeah. What are we missing? Is that 8?
That's 9.
He raced hard enduro on a KTM in Hawaii.
No.
No, he raced
He
it.
did one of the ones here. He did
Yeah.
Battle of
Bad
the
Madison?
Goats, or he did something here.
Bad Medicine or no? That was in Ohio. Just talking out my ass now.
That's nuts.
So 9 bikes.
9 bikes.
That's crazy.
The old CR250 was at a local North Carolina, but he was
Counts.
ripping on that thing.
Brakes
Couldn't beat Skinny though.
Yeah, he didn't have brakes though.
Hey, man.
only slow you down,
Yeah.
bud.
You know what they say? You gotta prep. Yeah, your shit's gotta be good.
He was supposed to race that at the last National Enduro.
And he did the Triumph.
Well, I think it was a team thing that decided, but yeah, he was supposed to race that CR250 at the last National Enduro.
That'd have been sick.
Well, that-
Dang. Now we might not ever get to see Caleb Russell race his dad's old KTM again.
He did do that, didn't he?
Yeah, the
Forgot
National
about
Enduro.
that. It didn't go very well.
crank seals went out of it like
Like
immediately.
first test, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hell yeah.
Find him an old Yamaha somewhere.
I got one.
Imagine that.
Original
Is it in the limo or the school bus?
or a box.
Wherever he needs it to be. That's where it'll be. Take your pick.
Our original co-host Devin Byram, he's got a 92 YZ250 that I actually just called him today trying to get it off him. He won't sell it still. Got to put the pressure on him. That's the year I was born.
Listen,
Need it.
consistency,
I know.
because that's what.
We had this conversation, all right?
I'm saying on getting him to sell the bike.
Oh, I thought you meant consistency on doing the show.
No,
Okay, hold on.
no.
New
Either
plan.
way. Either
Steal
way.
it. New plan.
It works for some
Be
people.
consistent one time.
He ain't got no cameras.
That's all you got to do. Just don't get caught.
God almighty.
I have to
Let's-
have to take this part out.
I was about to say, let's cross our fingers and hope that bike doesn't get stolen in the next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. This is what he gets for not making me seat covers.
My
Hey,
bad.
Tom's knocking on wood. Now the dogs are going
Reba,
nuts
sweet
again.
angel.
That was me. My bad.
Who else we got? So Lane Michael is another guy that went into retirement, and then
Henry
last
is
I
pissed,
heard
dude.
is looking for an opportunity to come out of retirement.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
He's bored.
I guess now his brother-in-law's back at it. He wants to be back at it, I guess.
Wonder if they talked about the. Wonder if they had a conversation about the Yamaha deal.
I mean, you would think they would have to, right? For those that don't know, Lane Michael and Caleb Russell are married to sisters. That makes them brother-in-law.
Here you go, Craig.
But yeah, I would imagine like Lane on that Ampro team for quite a few years. I'm sure that had to. I mean, maybe Caleb rode an Ampro bike in the past. I don't know.
I mean, you said earlier that he knew which one he wanted. He knew what he wanted to go get. Only went to one team.
That was just from reading and research,
Oh,
mass centralization, all that kind of stuff.
It's kind of wild on Pulp. He said from 2004 to 2024, he only rode KTMs. Remember a couple years ago, there was a rumor going around he went to Phoenix trying to get on a Honda to come back?
I was gonna bring that up earlier.
I was going to bring that up.
Is wonder how true that those
Because I got a
rumors
call
were.
one time because I had CR250s, two strokes, that he was looking for a 93 to 96 CR250 two stroke, and I texted him. And he hadn't made a decision on what he's going to do yet, and he didn't end up buying one off of me, or just one in general because I knew where a couple were. But that was the text message I got from somebody was, hey, Caleb's looking for this. Do you know where one's at? Scotty Barrett had one. Two nice ones at the time. And I said, yeah, I do know where one's at. So I thought that's why I kind of thought that was 100% truthful, because I did reach out to him. I was like, hey, do you still looking for a CR250? And he apparently did not go for the Honda gig, so he didn't really care about it. But
Well, that was also right after the whole motocross gig.
Yeah.
And then the rumors circulated that he was coming back on Phoenix Honda. And that was one thing I wanted to ask if there was any truth to it.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a rumor before he even retired originally. Like before the whole outdoor thing. I think that was a rumor
While he was still racing?
while he was still racing.
It was definitely before the training deal.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
One that was right here below without her, I was Evan Smith. Mm-hmm. Had a fantastic year this year. Wonder what his plan is. Same thing?
As far as I know, and I mean, Evan Smith is another one that you look at, spent several years on that beta team. And I think he wanted to move up to XC1 beforehand and just wasn't able to. And then they kind of threw him up at the end of last year into XC1. And I know that he had the flu or something at one round and didn't have much time on the bike. And so his results, obviously, he didn't go out and set the world on fire. But he did come out to Big Buck this year and get a top 5 his first race out on a privateer Husky.
Yeah, and did that multiple times this year.
Yeah, we were just looking at it a second ago. So 1, 2, 3, 4 podiums from Evan Smith, plus a 6th and 2 7ths.
4 podiums?
Yeah. Or no, top 5s.
Oh,
Excuse me, top 5s.
I was about to say I don't remember the podiums, but I remember
yeah.
just off the podium, like 4th and 5th, like really close.
Yeah, 4 top 5s, and ended the year just off the podium in 4th at Ironman.
Yeah, because there was, God, what race was it? It might have been the High Point race. Was it the Mason-Dixon, where like the top 7 or 8 overall were
Like
really
a minute and a half apart.
within a minute and a half. Yeah, I think that was one of the ones he was 4th or 5th, just off the podium.
Yeah, I mean, he's another full gas overall champion. Does good at the National Enduros. Like another dude that is now coming into his own, especially. I don't know if he ever gelled quite with the 2-stroke, but now back on a 4-stroke and back, talk about it again, when full gas was full gas, Evan won days. Like, beat Caleb, beat Sipes, beat all those dudes.
From the Pro 2 class, right? Or no?
He was in the Pro 2 class, but then I think he ended up moving into the Pro 1 class. It's kind of like National Enduro, where a lot of the XC2 guys were racing Pro 1.
Okay.
So he was in Pro 2 and won some days, but then moved up to Pro 1 just because he wanted to be in Pro 1, I think, ride a 350. Although I think Pro 2 might have been able to ride.
Yeah, and I know he rode a 450 this year.
Yeah. But I think he rode a 350 back then.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys whenever I first started coming down to North Carolina, even before I moved down here, we go to GTR. That's where everybody wanted to go in the wintertime. And I was like, who the heck? John Johnson was one of them. Then Evan Smith. Evan was on like a KTM 250F. And John was on a clapped out YZ 252 stroke. And I got down
he had
there.
A bunch of those.
Yeah. And I seen them both riding the back section in 2015, 2016, which is one like 4-minute long, just fast clapped out loop. And I seen him and John Johnson, a couple guys back here. And that was the first time I'd ever seen Evan. And I was like, holy shit, he's so freaking fast, dude. He was a ripper.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's so crazy to have this talent pool of guys that either have proven themselves or are trending in that direction that all don't have rides. Like Lyndon on the podium last round, doesn't have a ride. Or factor, I just found out about the Palmer thing. So in my mind, Lyndon doesn't have a ride. Apparently he has a ride. But you know what I mean.
Have you ever talked about?
I wouldn't consider it a ride.
Yeah. Have you talked on here at all about the big KTM financial issues? Because I don't know anything about that, but people keep asking me about it, and I have zero answers.
We briefly talked about it. Well, more so in the spect of the whole Caleb Russell rumors, like, oh, KTM can't afford to keep him or whatever, or that he was losing his training job because of their financial issues. None of that was the case.
Yeah.
But no, as far as the details of it, I don't want to speculate because I don't know nothing about it.
Broke ass bitches.
Anywho, let's talk about some of the guys that do have rides. There's one guy that tends to draw a lot of attention in the season, off the season, around the season, before the season, after the season, and that is Stu Baylor. And now we've seen him second year running a team, first year running a Kawasaki team, and now he will be transitioning into the factory Kawasaki team. The Babbitt's team is no more. I guess it could be I don't know what the new team is going to be, but based on the rumor mill, things we're hearing, Babbitt's Kawasaki no more. The crew from that team is going to be leading up the Phoenix Racing Honda team. Will it be Phoenix Racing Honda? Will it be Babbitt's Honda? That's the part that I don't know. But then it sounds like the factory efforts for Kawasaki is going to go straight through Ware Shoals, South Carolina, and the RM Red Bear Racing team with Stu Baylor at the helm. And I guess the other big news coming out of that I think that post you showed me, was that an announcement? Or
No,
was that just him riding?
It was just him riding.
Oh, so spoiler alert, Ryan Sipes is going to be the team manager of that effort, which I think is going to be a great thing for Stu. What were we getting at?
You talking about Ryan Sipes being team manager?
Oh! I just meant so working alongside Stu and being involved in the effort and kind of just tagging along with that team, for lack of a better reason. There's a lot of stuff in his plate, and the results this year were not what he was expecting. Clicked off a couple wins, was in the fight there till the end, and a couple bike things took him out of a couple races, but. I mean, he's having another baby. He's building a house. He's running a training facility. He's running a track. He's running a team. He's getting sponsors for the team. He's racing at the premier level. I just think there's a ton of stuff on his shoulders. So I think putting a guy like Ryan Sipes, a guy that's won a GNCC overall, a guy that's won an ISDE, a guy that's owner of National Enduro Series, one of the owners of National Enduro Series, a guy that knows racing.
I don't think a lot of people know that Sipes has a lot to do with the National Enduros.
Yeah. Yeah, there was never really a hubbub made about that.
Yeah.
But the point being is, like, seeing how much stuff is on his plate, that is a lot for a guy whose job is to go there and be the best in the world at what you do. So I think that is a key hire and a key addition to that team of bringing Ryan Sipes on to manage the race team and take some of that stuff off of Stu's plate.
Yeah, we talk about some of these other moto dads, XC1 racers that we think with their kids racing in the morning that they're getting pulled in a lot of different directions. Times that by 100 for Stu. You know, not only has he got a kid running around and
I apologize.
COVID.
You could probably get a little bit closer into the mic if you tried next to him.
Is it close?
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, like all that on Stu's plate, he's getting pulled in a million different directions on not just race weekends, but through the week. And it's got to, I mean, obviously it has taken a toll because his results weren't what he expected this year.
Yeah. I'm not saying that is the reason, but it doesn't help.
It doesn't help. So it'd be interesting to see with Sipes coming in, take some of that off his plate, see if that makes a difference. And it'll be cool to see Sipes back at the race, assuming he's going to be at the races. But cool to see him
Have to
back.
be.
You ain't got much of a choice now.
Yeah. But also, once again, the things that we hear, the speculation going on, there might be 6 pro riders under that tent next year.
6?
I think.
I know there's gonna. I know of the 3 because there was a photo of some bar mounts with names on them.
That was a little odd.
Yeah.
So the rumors, speculative. Apparently Tom knows. I don't know anything. I just report on what I hear. But it sounds like, obviously, Grant Baylor coming over from Kawasaki. He's been on factory Kawasaki. Makes sense. Join up with your brother at the new factory Kawasaki. And then Josh Toth, his last race, we saw him on a Kawasaki. And now it seems like that is the direction that he is headed. Just based on everything. And like you said, the XC gear bar mounts had those 3, the trio on there. Nick DeFeo, who moved up to the XC2 class and top AM 2 years in a row. Yep. I think he'll be a podium guy in XC2. Sounds like that's where he's going. Also was part of the factory Kawasaki, the Team Green program, going over there. And then Rachel Archer coming off of 3 GNCC championships in a row. 2 National Enduro championships in a row, or 1. Either way. And then Caleb Wood, imagine, would still be there racing in A class. So how many is that? Is that 5 pros? 6 bikes,
So
5 pros?
5 pros and an A rider.
Yeah, allegedly.
I mean,
And that's a lot. Like this year they had 8, technically 9 riders total.
yeah,
And then a couple, like some kids thrown in there too.
throughout all the classes.
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
put
They'll probably have 2A riders, support riders too, wouldn't they? 2 that pay.
To the best of my knowledge, I don't think they're having any amateurs.
minus Caleb,
Minus Caleb.
and that's family.
Yeah.
But
His name's on the side of the rig.
see, I remember. God, I don't remember where it was. I don't know if it was on your show or something else, but Stu had made a comment that, or it might have been his post, the last post they did on Instagram of thanking all the riders and stuff, but he had made a comment that next year was going to be different and not going to support so many amateur riders, going to be more pro rider team.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense that you got Stu, Grant, Toth, DeFeo, Rachel, and then Caleb Wood.
Yeah. So between those top 3, I think it's safe to say they're bringing home a National Enduro number 1 plate. Between the 3 of them.
Yeah, between the 3, that's the last, 10 years?
9 years of champions
Hell yeah.
under 1 tent. But, I mean, that's the other thing, too. Like, the amateur thing, you get those guys that are helping contribute to the team, obviously, but they're also spread out throughout the race. You got 5 guys on the first 2 rows.
Yeah.
And 4, because Rachel was one of the pros, I think. So 4 guys on the front 2 rows, maybe the front row.
Yeah.
I think that there's right now, Toth, he came back race XC2 this year. The way that the ruling is right now, he cannot race XC2 next year because he won the National Enduro Overall Championship. So I think that part may be to be determined, just depending on if rules get changed or amended or whatever. Don't know what's going to happen there. But so then you'll have 3 dudes on the front row, and then Caleb will be on row 4 or 5, depending on the week.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're talking about the team management and that side of things, what happens when we talked about the freight trains that there are in XC1 right now. Like all those dudes are tight. You got the top 8 within a minute of each other, and they're all bunched up. They're all riding together. What do you do when 3 people come into the same pits? I guess it's not the first time we've seen 3 people on the same row, but
Better have 3 mechanics ready, I guess.
yeah, and then some.
3 mechanics and 1 Jade.
And
Yeah.
1 Jade.
So
She knows how to do goggles sometimes.
Sometimes.
yeah,
He reposted that one of her fucking up about 3 or 4 times, and he finally started posting good ones.
You think he was fired up about that or what?
I don't know. I've seen the dude take a freaking tent post out before. So,
that was impressive.
yeah.
Did
Dudes
he-
are sturdy.
Didn't he lose a shock bolt this year?
Was
Again?
no, that was on.
No, I know the year he took out the fence post.
Blew a shock off at Vegas to Reno. Lost a shock bolt.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because
But there was
I walked up to one of the cameras like, this ain't never happened to you before, has it?
You think he wishes that they were on Yamahas?
No. I think that he is probably perfectly happy with Kawasaki and loves the way that the Kawasaki bikes ride,
And probably
if I had to guess.
very much so loves the money they're paying him.
Hell yeah. Just
Or
ask him,
paying
you
the
know.
team.
Oh, so that year that we talked about where he raced 5 different bikes in a year, he said that Kawasaki is what fit him the best. Like, that's what he liked riding the best that year that he kind of did the Toth program and rode a bunch of different bikes in a year. Because that year he rode a Shirtako, a Yamaha, a Husky, a Kawasaki. Am I missing something?
I think he rode a Suzuki at one point too. Maybe at home. Didn't race it.
Yeah, I don't think he raced a Suzuki.
It was Matusik, wasn't it? Or somebody's.
It wasn't there.
I forgot about Matusik and his RM Army following. But yeah, be interesting to see how all that plays out. But I mean, Stu is another guy. I think it's a little bit too early to talk about championship contenders. We're gonna save that for another day. But Stu is a guy that right now is probably the best GNCC rider in history to not win an overall championship. And you know that is the one spot on his mantle that he's looking for. You know that is the thing that he's got 6 national enduro titles, and I think he'd probably trade 4 to 6 of them for a
trade all
GNCC
of 'em.
championship.
He's been so close.
Yeah, he's due.
And you look at some of the and
He's
like
past it.
yeah,
Past it.
He
Dude.
wins when he retires.
22
I'll take-
was his year. This year he was in it for a while. Like
Well, 21 was. He
yeah,
was close in
21 was with him and Ben coming down to the last race.
Well, he didn't run Big Buck, remember? Because he ripped his hip open at Sumter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
So
got that big cut.
Imagine if he would have top 3 Big Buck. I mean, if you look at the
Well,
points that year.
then he DNF
Well-
Florida too that year.
Oh,
yeah,
but
yeah.
So-
or he,
so it
got,
was-
but he still got credit with like 6th or 8th or something.
Yeah, but he was outside the top 20.
Yeah, but also the year that Craig DeLong won, what was that, 23? Yeah,
out.
23 last year. Stu was the XC1 points leader.
Yeah.
Stu won the XC1 points, and Craig won the overall. So it's like he's been right there, dude.
That's so weird.
And then even in like, what was it, 2017 when he came out swinging, it was like leading the points, and then
He got
had the virus or whatever at Limestone, and had to go to the hospital at Limestone. Wow, I think he was in the lead when he pulled off.
I don't think he raced. No, I
He-
think he was there and didn't race.
No, he was at Limestone and
but
got pulled off the bike and went to the hospital.
But he had the white plate. I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something else that I meant to bring up when we were talking about Caleb was it'll be interesting if he is in a championship fight, because if he is, I don't think you're ever going to see him win it early again, and it'll be really cool to see a championship with Caleb go down to the wire.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because there's been multiple people up until summer break run with him, be close in points. I think one year Strang went into the summer break with the white plate after Snowshoe. And then those last 4 races.
That's the year that Toth won but didn't win. Because they wanted Caleb to beat Strang.
Maybe. I don't remember.
That was 2020.
But I think it'll be cool to see.
Yeah. But
Because I don't think has Caleb since the year with, was it Whibley or Mullins that it came down to the last round?
Mm-hmm.
Has any of his other championships come down to the last round?
I don't think so.
Because he lost the one against Wibbs at the last round.
But like a point. But then there was also something weird that happened in the beginning of that season. Something happened at the beginning of that season that
He had a DNF.
Yeah, he explained it to me before, but
and then the next year he was really close with Mullins. And then he won it, but it came down to the last round. After that, has there been one that's come down to the last round or two?
I wish I remembered. I think it was on the podcast when he told that story. There was something about that first year that he didn't win where he should have won. Like it was one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda situations.
It was like 2012, and he had a wreck. He had a crash or something and pulled off.
Yeah.
And if he would have finished and got points, he would have won the championship.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Your chair's squeaking, by the way.
I know.
I didn't know if you knew that you could hear that.
Well,
You can
Tom,
hear it in
son
the
of a
mic.
bitch, go get some WD-40 and fix it.
Well,
Sorry.
shit. I just, I won't even know.
But no, and I also wonder like what that does for the dynamic of the rest of the crew, because you look at like we're talking about Stu and how bad he wants that championship. Like I remember the story in 2020 was last chance to beat Caleb, like take him out in his final year. But now, so you got Stu that's always been hungry, always been right there with Caleb, like love-hate relationship that they have. And now you got the other half of XC1 that Caleb's been training for the last 4 years. So it's like, what does that do to their psyche, to their mindset? And it's like those guys, like training in Florida, training up here in North Carolina, like those dudes know each other inside and out. So it's like, how is that going to affect racecraft and things on the track?
I think there's definitely going to be some fireworks this year.
I know there's some animosity between
Yeah, I think there's a little bit.
at least one of the riders.
Yeah.
Well, and not even that, but like there's actually quite a bit of rivals. Like everybody thinks that the XC1 classes, everybody seems to be buddies. Everybody seems to get along, and for the most part, I think they do. But there's a handful of, like, there's a couple riders that don't see eye to eye, don't like each other.
And they don't broadcast it, but then you hear about it and you're like, oh, I didn't even know. Like, I almost invited you to go here with me to here, and that wouldn't have worked. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, it'd be cool to see a little bit more of that. And like, I don't know, I think if the people knew that was going on, like at the races, it would make it a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some stuff on that pro row that there's some people that,
I'll tell you what was cool was went and rode with Johnny G and Ben like last week.
Did you ever tell them what I said?
No. We can call him.
Speaking of,
Well, now we don't have another mic.
But BK riding healthy. That was cool.
That's what I was gonna bring up, because like Ben and Johnny for that matter, but Ben is a unit, dude. Like that's a big dude. His calves are as big as my thighs.
Dude, fucking thighs, his calves, whatever the fuck. We were down at what's the moto track we went to? Me, Chris, and
Barnyard.
we had a full guest there.
Cedar Grove.
Cedar Grove.
Yeah.
Invited BK. BK goes, and I felt like this is not me talking myself up at all because I suck at moto. But I was probably the second fastest person there. Not saying much. We were all goons. BK was there.
Was he the fastest?
Of course.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was third.
The BK could lap me in 5 laps. BK could lap me. And I was like, where is he doing this at? So I just stopped and started watching him. Immediately, I found about 20 corners where he was doing that. He was ripping, dude.
And there's only 18 turns on the track.
That's what I'm saying. How'd he do it? Dude, he fast.
Yeah.
God dang, dude. Everybody was stopping and taking videos and shit.
But, I mean, so one of the things to talk about is, like, Caleb, in his last year, he won 8 races to win the championship. Before that, it was like 9. And before that, it was like 8 or 7. Point is, he wins a lot. The last 3 years, the champion has won 3 or less races. Every year that Caleb's been gone, the champion has won 3 or less races. The exception to that being is Ben Kelly coming out in 22 and winning 6 straight and going undefeated, and nobody could touch him.
Yeah.
And then he breaks his leg at National Enduro, and then since then had a shoulder surgery, had leg surgery, coming back from this, coming back from that. And then when he came back this year, did he get on the podium that first race? If not, he was close.
Yeah, he's second first race, and Stu won, correct?
Something like
No,
that.
I think Johnny,
that was last year, wasn't it?
Johnny won the first race this year.
No. I'm talking about the first race. Ben was back. So 4th, just off the podium. Barely missed the podium at round 10. 4th place. I talked to him after that race, and he said that the longest he had rode a bike was the 2 motos at J-Day. And that was the longest time he spent on the bike. So 45 minutes tops, and then comes back his first 3-hour ride, first time riding long enough to put gas in the bike at one time, and he comes back 4th. And then he comes back 2 rounds later and gets 3rd. So it's like BK has a healthy offseason and gets back on the training program and is healthy and feeling strong again. Like, it's a dude we ain't talked about in a couple years, but it's a dude that could very well come out and win the first 6 races again.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the year that he showed up and raced round 1 with a broke leg?
Wasn't that last year?
Was it?
You mean his hip?
Yeah.
That'd been 2021.
No, it was
No,
last year.
I'm sorry, 2023.
It was last year because, so 23. Because his leg, he could barely walk. Like the first few races, when he finished Florida, he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
He came off the track at Florida when Joe Sepp won, and he got 2nd, and he had to be like helped to the ground and couldn't get up. And because I remember talking to him about it, because I went through the same injury, so I just kind of talked to him about it. But that's also when the rumors speculated that he had re-broke it right before the season. I don't know if that's true or not, but either way, he couldn't walk.
Because that's when you were having Stu on every week. And I remember after Big Buck that year, Stu was like, always kind of thought Ben was a sissy, whatever. He said, but after that, and what he did, and like y'all didn't really say that, hey, he's racing with a broken leg. Stu was like, yeah, much respect.
Yeah.
But
It's going to be gnarly next one.
back to it. A healthy BK. That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, and Johnny coming off of a championship.
Yeah.
Craig showing some flair there coming back at the end of the season. Liam Draper hadn't missed the podium.
Yeah,
You
dude.
got Strang.
He was ripping.
Strang kind of goes off the back end because he blew up at Ironman, but we saw the equipment he was on to start the year. And then he switches over to that Beta Power machine, goes on it the first time with like less than an hour on it, and then kind of just slowly chugs along, gets better and better each and every race after that. And now he's going to have all of that time on the bike to kind of get used to it, get this offseason under his belt. And the last time Caleb raced, Strang was the closest one to that championship. And so it's like he's also a guy that you can never count out, even going into year number 19.
I feel like it's so hard to speculate, too, because we'll say, yeah, Johnny G, BK, whoever is going to do this, that, and the other. Like last year, I said BK. Well, I know I said 2 years ago when we were talking about if BK won the first race, I think he wins all of them whenever he started to. And then he got hurt. Well, then you forget about Jordan Ashburn, who continually gets 2nd and 3rd every single weekend. And it's just so hard to guess because everyone's so good. And I always feel like I picked the wrong picks. I sound like an idiot. And then
You are an idiot.
you're the one spitting the Zen out of your mouth, putting it in your Busch Light right now. Nasty.
Play-by-play commentary.
I could have thrown it on the floor.
Ashburn is a guy that came up in conversations the other day. I forget with who, but one of the things that Caleb said was that he doesn't think that the level has progressed since he left. He just thinks that more riders are riding to that level. And I actually asked a few other XC1 guys about it since then, and they kind of agreed with the same thing. But you look at Ashburn, and Ashburn is a dude that's only getting better. Like, Ashburn is riding at a different level, and he's riding at the level of all these other guys. I mean, second place in points for the year this year. And
I told you this was going to be trouble.
TJ,
Yeah.
do you want one?
nah.
Are you unchristian?
Nah, I haven't had a beer since 4th of July, I
Today's
think.
the day.
Well, what better time?
Nah, I got Cherry Coke Zero.
Okay.
I shouldn't be saying that. No free ads.
You'll smoke a joint?
But Jordan
I don't have one, but
Jordan Ashburn clicks off a
God
couple
almighty.
wins.
You got COVID?
no, it's a clap. It's different.
I don't think you coughed that up.
Trying to.
But yeah. Anyway,
Sorry. We really just kind of screwed you up, didn't we?
nah, you just looking at the contenders, and once again, I don't want to predict champions or anything, but like Jordan Ashburn is a dude that is getting older, and he is still getting faster like each and every single year. Like, he won the championship last year, comes back out this year, couple second places, on the podium quite a bit, couple wins to finish out the season, and finishes the year second place in points. Another guy that I think people forget about is Grant Baylor had 4 podiums this year. He came out at the beginning of this year.
And didn't race the second half of the year.
Yeah, leading the National Enduro. He and a lot of, that was one of the questions that popped up a bunch in the stories today is what happened to Grant. I don't think anyone ever said publicly what happened, but I think now that he's in the final stages of his transition, we can talk. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
He crashed at a National Enduro, and I thought that he broke his scapula or some ribs or something, but I think he had some shoulder issues as well. So he sat out the back half of the season injured nonetheless. But, yeah, 4 podiums at GNCC, and we think about National Enduro, or we think about Grant as a National Enduro guy, but when we were kind of talking about the top 25 riders in the country and stuff, like Grant was a guy that came up, and it's like, once again, it seems like this season has been so long, but yeah, 4 podiums on the year and a second place at his last GNCC that he raced.
Dude, think how much faster these guys would be if they liked GNCCs.
Yeah.
Because every single one of them, well, I can think of 5 off the top of my head. They're like, man, if we weren't getting paid to race these things,
Saw that microphone a little bit up.
we'd just be doing national enduros and sprints.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many people like racing for 3 hours.
Dude, I have a hot take. If Grant Davis would have started on the first row, would he have been the overall champion this year?
That's not a take. That's a question.
That's my take. If he would have started on the front row, he would have been probably an overall champion this year.
You sure you don't have a joint? I think you smoked it on the way here.
So that's actually one of the things on our 2 of the things on our list to talk about is Grant Davis as a whole, but then also the XC2 start times. And I think that's one of the things that's going to be discussed at the rules meeting coming up. But
Can
that
we listen
is-
to that?
I know in the past few years they've been doing it on a Zoom call. So I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it. But to your point, it's purely speculative, but I wouldn't think so. And the reason I say that is right now, everyone that I've talked to, and by everyone I talked to, I mean like every XC1 rider that I've talked to, thinks that there needs to be a bigger gap between the start times of XC2. And I disagree with that. And going back to your point, if Grant Davis started on the front row, I think it's way easier to see a guy and chase him down and pass him than it is to run from a guy that's playing with a minute on you and you don't know where he's at. Like Grant is behind Johnny on the track. Like Stu is an example. This year at Florida, Stu kind of kicked it into cruise mode on the last lap because he was gapped out from second and he had a big gap back to fourth. And so he kind of cruised in the last lap and then comes in and finds out that Grant Davis bumped him off the podium and got 3rd place overall. And he was pissed. Super pissed. I think XC Gear even made him a bar mount that said, "Where's the pit board?" Because that was the thing that Stu was saying when he was coming off the track. Like, why didn't anybody let me know that Grant was in my time? So I think playing with that time gap and trying to run away from that where you don't know where you stand is way harder than physically seeing somebody. So I'm not taking anything away from what Grant did. He won 2 overalls on the overall podium several times. Like, amazing year. And I think he's proved that he's going to be the next guy. But that being said, I think if he was on the front row, that it's way easier to see what you're dealing with than to have a guy somewhere within a minute behind you that could be beating you.
Well, and I thought your minute conversation was going to say, or we was going to talk about them starting less than a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I agree.
That's what I think should happen.
It should be a minute. You think it should be less than a minute?
I think, if you want my honest opinion, I think they need to start on the same row. Now that you got 3 XC2 overall winners in the same year, I think you put them on the front row. You're paying them the same. You're not paying XC1 and XC2 different. You're paying top 15 overall.
So what would the class be called?
So
Pro?
No, you still score them separately, but you start them on the same row. Split row. Not a split row. They're all on the same row. So they're XC1 and XC2. They're both full-blown professional classes. They're competing for the same contracts, the same money. And then you go back to the XC2 conversation where everyone is sandbagging the XC2 to get a paycheck instead of moving up to XC1. Well, now we're finally at the point where we got more XC1 riders than XC2 riders. But if you start everyone on the same row, there is no time gap. There is no time adjustment. It's like snowshoe when you start on the front row. You know that if you beat the guys on your row, you win the race. And then still score them separately. Strang did mention, like, not having an overall. So, like, not including the overall, just scoring XC1, scoring XC2. But I don't agree with that either.
I don't like that.
But yeah, I'm just saying that was another thing thrown out there. But I think you start XC1 and XC2 on the same row and you score them separately. Because right now, like I said, you took away the XC1 bonuses and you took away the XC2 bonuses, and right now they pay top 15.
Oh, when you said payout, I was thinking like contract team pay.
No.
But you're saying the GNCC payout.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't pay the classes individually. They pay top 15 overall.
Or
so if you win XC2 and you're 16th overall, you get $0.
How about this? Put the top 15 on row 1. Everybody else in XC1, XC2 on row 2.
It gets a little discombobulated. And it also is a huge disadvantage that, because we're sitting here arguing that on the second row is an advantage.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm getting at, too, is like when everyone talks about the start rows needing to be different, they immediately go to XC2 needs a bigger gap. And I think that would be stupid.
I mean,
say you give them 3 minutes, and now they got 3 minutes to play with. 3 minutes on a track, you have no idea where they're at.
yeah.
And for them to be able to get within 3 – because they got clear track the first lap till you hit lappers.
Yeah.
And then once the lead pack hits lappers, then lappers know that the rest is coming and to get out of the way.
Yeah.
So then you have a 3-minute gap to ride in no dust. And because I think the argument is like XC1 is so bunched up that the XC2 guys can jump in that line and hang with them and know they're in the overall. Mm-hmm. But imagine if they do that 2 minutes back or 3 minutes back, then you're never shaking them. Mm-hmm. Like the level these dudes are going, like if Grant Davis starts 2 minutes back and catches the back of the pack and he can stay with someone, you're not dropping him by 2 minutes, by 3 minutes.
Do you think the first place guy and the last place guy in the XC1 train, do you think at any point they get separated out by more than 3 minutes?
Not lately.
Right. Well, so what I'm saying is...
Yeah, the last one of the train, not the last one in the class.
Right.
Like the last one in that lead pack.
Yeah, so if no, like...
No one's winning by 3 minutes.
The first lap at a GNCC, right, it's a train of XC1 guys. 90% of the races, they're all together, right? And you're saying the XC2 guy sprints, catches up to the train. I don't think... What I'm saying is, I'm agreeing with you that it's never going to get spread out by 3 minutes to where that XC2 guy is at the back of the train or catching the XC1 guys.
And 3 minutes behind the leader.
Correct.
Yeah, no.
They're going to be in that 3 minutes. They're going to be a minute behind that train, like you said, where the dust settles, all that, and then they're still going to be in the overall.
Yeah.
To me, this is just XC1 starting lapping immediately and then get on the second lap. Yeah. Start pushing back classes.
But it's just like I was saying, like, dude, if I was in XC1 and I saw this year go the way that it did, it would drive me nuts knowing a guy behind me has a minute to play with. And then you start putting it to 2 minutes or 3 minutes, that minute is now completely unseen. You have no idea where they're at or how close they are, and you're basically trying to run from something that you can't see or doesn't know is there.
Yeah. But
I think it would make more XC2 overalls if they increase the gap. I think they either need to go 30 seconds or start them on the same damn road.
or just leave everything at a minute.
I mean, other than Grant and Josh, like Toth, who, I mean, there wasn't many other XC2 guys doing either.
But there's been a lot of guys in the overall lead.
That's what I was about to
Early.
say. So not at the end of the race.
Yeah.
But
a lot of that was
damn
like
near-
nasty dust. That was like usually mud races and nasty Pennsylvania dust races.
I mean, damn near every race this year, you saw XC2 guys in the lead. Like Jonathan Johnson was in the overall lead for a long time, and Nick DeFeo was in the overall lead at one point.
From 258.
Yeah.
Well, not in the overall lead, but he was like second or third, right? Or was he in the lead?
Something like that. So when I was filming in the woods in Georgia, I remember putting it in my video of my phone that the top 9 the first XC1 rider was in like 9th place.
Yeah. And that happened more than once.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. Like you bring up DeFeo from 250A. If you pay attention to it, it's a minute for XC1 to XC2, and then a minute from XC2 to XC3. From XC3 back, it's 30 seconds.
I
It's
don't
not
even think XC3 gets a minute.
It might. That's why I paused. I wasn't sure. They might be 30 seconds.
Talking to Ricky Towery as much as I do, I'm pretty sure XC2 is the only one, like, he's been told to not start them less than a minute.
Yeah. But, like, back to it, that just gives all the A riders and XC3 a huge advantage. You know?
Yeah, but those who just can't ride at the level that XC1 does. And I think the XC2 guys can.
The one row thing is, I've never thought about that. That's interesting.
well,
Well,
that's
like I
how it
said,
used to be, and
you're
that's how
gonna-
it used to be.
You're going to pay them together, start them together.
They just had one pro class.
Yeah, back when Charlie Mullins would get third overall from 250A, he was technically 250A.
Yeah.
Though he would have been in the XC2, like,
I think Thad did too. Thad got like a second or third from.
Yeah, we looked at it one time.
Yeah, Thad. He actually, the show that I think we talked about it, where we were talking about the highest finish amateurs. Thad actually reached out, or maybe Caleb told me about it. Someone reached out to me and said that Thad was on track to podium, but he was too young to be racing a pro
And they
class.
pulled him over and stopped him.
Yeah, they stopped him for 30 seconds so he wouldn't be on the podium from 250A. Or I think it was 250B, actually.
good Lord.
Something crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
We did
And
go down
he
a
told
rabbit
me that
hole on that
story.
one time, didn't we?
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an XC1 guy, but from a casual observer and, like, the things that I kind of explained, it seems like starting them on the road together. Because it's exactly like what you were saying, or when we were talking about Grant Davis, if he started on the front row all year, would he have won the championship? It's way easier to see and pass and know than it is to be racing a clock that you have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, you can push, you know that Johnny knows Grant Davis is right ahead of him. It's a lot easier for Johnny to mentally chase him down than to just be riding by himself as hard as he can and hope he's riding faster, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's interesting.
Do you remember like 2011 and 12? Like that's when I started first going to GNCCs. Dude, XC2 class used to be like 33 riders.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Huge.
It was nuts.
That was so cool.
Dude, two years ago, there were 6 people in XC1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but there's a lot of people hurt. But the
Well,
XC1
yeah, that
class
year
used to be that big too.
Yeah.
Like those years, because there used to be like the name that's sticking out is Jedediah Haynes. Like people like that would show up and race XC1 all year,
Yeah.
and XC1 now is okay. Maybe minus Evan Smith, and this year there's probably going to be a lot more privateers, but like there used to be a lot of people that would show up and race XC1.
Tyler Medaglia, Todd Kellett. Remember when he came over?
Yeah, but like those
Everyone
guys
hated that guy.
But those guys are like they're legit professionals.
Yeah.
Like there used to be guys that I would say were local pros
Yeah.
that would show up and race XC1.
Yeah.
Now they show up and race Open A
Or Sportsman A.
or Sportsman A. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get me sick,
Dude, get off of my lap.
I'm not what. Nobody can see us, Craig.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is interesting, especially when you dive into it. But it's getting late. I know you boys got work. Couple other quick things. Another cat out of the bag. Josh Strang, team manager of the Beta team. We knew that the Beta guys had served their last race at Ironman, and now it has officially came out that Josh Strang will be a rider and team manager, taking over the Beta team, new Beta race shop right down the road from here.
Shout out.
Moving to North Carolina.
Yeah, that's cool. And I was thinking about that earlier. If you're a local kid around the North Carolina Midi Series, like having a factory race shop or team based out of basically the center of both of those series, like, could you imagine as like a young kid around here having a full factory team here?
Yeah.
Like, all these kids around here better have goals of riding for Beta at some point.
Well, not only that, like the Beta Cup at National Enduro, I think that is so cool. I don't know why more people don't do it.
What is that?
So at National Enduro, the highest finishing Beta rider every year gets a free Beta. They just give you a
No
bike.
shit?
Yeah, free bike. Pick one, and it's yours. Like that.
Why have you never talked about that?
I have. I think
He's part of that.
I've never heard you say that.
that. What was that girl?
Uh,
The drag racer girl.
Oh,
Dirt bike queen.
Yep.
yeah, I was.
I don't remember her name. Anyway, she won the Beta Cup one year and got a free Beta
No
because
shit.
she was the highest finishing Beta. And then Jack Walker won the Beta Cup, got a Beta, and now is a factory Beta rider.
Dude, I'll tell you something else crazy. I went, obviously, to Chile for that trip. So many betas. I guess so over there they don't pay riders, like, at all. Obviously, that's why, like, Sebastian Tavernet, Benji, and Ruy, everybody came here. There's so much support for Shurkos and betas. Like, you don't see any Cowies there. Like, I've seen not many Yamahas at all. It's mostly KTM, Husky Gas, Beta. I see more betas than anything.
Yeah.
And I guess they have just like a sweet support program over there. And there's a bunch of fast-ass kids on 125s running around doing like the junior class.
You see the same thing in like the World Enduro, that those Sprint Enduro stuff, because that
Or even hard enduro here.
who's that guy that comes over and films normally? Big Buck.
Oh, like Halme Solimer.
Yeah, that JS.
Yeah, Halme.
You watch some of his videos from over there, dude. There's a ton of people ripping two strokes on the crash tracks, and
Yeah.
a lot of them's 125s, and they're all, a lot of them Shercos, Betas,
Yeah.
It's where sports at.
old
Even-
gas.
Even
What's
in the
that?
woods,
Raju,
man.
Raju,
Riehu.
or yeah, Riehu,
Yeah.
whatever.
Like even like Mid East, dude. I can't believe how many people are riding betas, and then like go into TKO and stuff like that, and it's like
Oh,
didn't
300
count them, but like dude, half the damn field is betas.
Yeah, 300 damn hard enduro world out there.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that is cool to have a fact. That's why when we were all at the Christmas parade the other day, I was telling Strang, it's like, dude, you got to get the van and a couple bikes in the Christmas parade. Because
hell with the van.
how many people in Denver know that a factory race team is now in Denver?
3.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in Denver listens to the show, but if they did, now they know. But
I apologize.
we'll have to tell you in 2 weeks when we're out of isolation from getting COVID from Craig.
No
My bad.
shit. Hell with the van. Hook up a damn.
Get the semi, brother.
Yeah, hook up a flatbed to the
Dude,
semi.
this is no shit. Whenever I had the semi, the KTM semi, I stopped at my hometown in Ohio in between between West Virginia and the Indiana rounds.
Yeah.
I asked my boss, man, I was like, hey, what do you want me to do? He goes, well, you can just go straight to Indiana and hang out. I said, well, my hometown's right there. Can I just park it? I said, I don't care. Go ahead. It's cool. So I parked it at my buddy's got a trucking company. I just pulled in there, parked it. All's well. Well, I bobtailed the KTM semi. And I went and picked up my sister for work in it. I didn't do anything out of, I took a chick on a date in this thing. That's no shit. And
Did you use the sleeper?
God.
not for anything PG-13 and up, Thomas, but I did 100%.
So I guess since we're putting all this out there, so the year that Stu and Ben came down to the championship, that's when you were driving the semi. And that was also when the buckwheat episode came out with the whole protest and that whole thing. So
I'll talk about it as much as you want. I still hate everybody over that.
That's
Craig,
when you were still in radio.
Yeah, Craig was spying on radio signals.
The dude that doesn't even know how to use his iPhone was hacking into radios whenever it ended up being someone's wife on a different team. And everyone's over here trying to fight me. What's his name? Freaking
Craig told me he did it.
You ever been headbutted in the kitchen before?
I got a big head, bud.
I hate that. Was so stupid, dude. I will get so fired up right now.
Saturday night before the race, we're in the semi trailer in the KTM semi, and me and Craig made ham and cheese sandwiches on Ben Kelly's seat in the back of the rig, just making a ham and cheese on the championship winning bike the night before the race.
Whoever decided it was a good idea to give you a semi.
Dude, listen.
Craig just lost all of his job opportunities.
First off, I don't want the job opportunity. If I told someone this the other day, they asked me about that job again, and I said, if I were to start that job right now, I would be so much better at it. I don't want the job, and nobody's going to offer me the job. But if I were to get a call and start that job over now, I would be so much better at it because I am a lot different right now than what I was 4 years ago whenever I was getting that opportunity.
I do know of a local team here that was looking for a truck driver.
They don't want me, and Josh String will not hire me, I guarantee it. He knows me just well enough to say absolutely not. He's not doing anything for me.
You're gonna log on.
I can't cook. I can't.
That was the biggest thing that I remember giving you shit about.
Dude, I suck at cooking.
You can't cook, and everybody knows it at the GNCCs. The truck driver cooks at the races.
I can.
And I was like, Craig, how you gonna cook for the team? Like literally,
I'm not.
Can't cook.
We made ham and cheeses.
Yeah, dude, and I drink a lot of beer.
You're wired up here, bud.
You shared some Red Bulls out of that thing one time, too, because I got one of those.
Yeah, I helped my buddies out for sure. I'll tell you the coolest thing I ever did was Thursday setting up. There were some kids running around on e-bikes. They kept riding by and looking at it. You boys want to see the inside of a factory semi? Hell yeah. The 8-year-old kid said this. Come on. Giving kids tours, which I would do that over and over again because if I was 10 years old at a GNCC, didn't know any of the factory riders, and the truck driver said, hey, you want to see the inside of this semi? I'd say, fuck yeah, I do. It's cool shit. But yeah, I would be a much better truck driver now than what I was. I wasn't the best. I didn't do anything too bad.
Minus the fact that if you log on to Uber in Southern Ohio and the KTM semi shows up to pick you up.
Dude, I wouldn't pick that thing up actually because in Ohio, they do this thing. I don't know if it's just Ohio or just younger people because these kids are like 23 now. Someone put a picture of it on Facebook and said, anyone want to spray paint a semi tonight? Dude, I went straight over there. I picked that bitch up, and I fucking left. I went straight to Indiana with it like that morning.
See, that's responsible.
Yeah, I mean, but like it was at a buddy's race shop. Shout out Seth Daniels. Parked it there. They had a trucking company out of there. I got all kinds of room. But, yeah, I bobtailed that thing. I took my niece out to dinner in it. Took a chick out to dinner. Hung out for 3 days. I didn't have nothing else to do. They said, yeah, just go to Indiana and hang out. Get a hotel. I said, I probably won't do that. I'll probably just go to my hometown. Went and rode my buddy Hunter's 450 for a day or two. It was sick. I had a great time.
Oh, my
Sounds like
God.
it.
Jail.
Straight to jail. So, yeah, I guess. So the only other thing, and I think we managed to stay out of the weeds for the most part here tonight, but the other thing that I did want to bring up, people keep asking about Ricky Russell. Talked about it on the show before when we did silly season. I keep hearing that it's going to be enduro engineering on a Triumph. Once again, all of this speculative just stuff that we hear, but Josh Toth on that enduro engineering team this year, raced a Triumph at the last National Enduro. I think that was kind of foreshadowing into what that may be. And we didn't mention Thad Duvall as one of the guys that didn't have a ride. I know he was on the fence about retirement, but sounds like he is coming back. And from what I hear, there might be a new team developing, and sounds like Thad might be going on that one.
Ride red.
XC1 or 2?
I don't know. That I don't know. I would imagine XC1, but I don't know. But the other thing, speaking of XC1 or XC2, and going back to your Grant Davis question, I did hear that Grant Davis has an offer on the table to race XC1 or XC2. And I'm wondering how true that is, and I'm wondering which way that he would go, because I think, didn't I have Grant Davis on the show? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I was talking to him somewhere. But he said he wanted to race XC1. Like, he said he didn't want to defend the XC2 plate, which we haven't seen anybody do that since Bollinger in 2016 when he moved to XC1 the next year.
Oh, move up after winning.
Yeah.
I thought you meant seeing anybody defend it.
No.
Because I was going to say there's a whole list of people that's had the XC2 number 1 plate. And
Yeah.
the second year has not gone well.
No, I mean, financially, it makes a lot of sense. Like
Ben
in
was
my
the last
mind-
one to repeat.
Yeah.
Ben Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Because Toth didn't.
because Ben
Craig didn't. Liam didn't.
Lyndon
Lyndon
didn't.
didn't.
and Bollinger moved up.
Bollinger moved up. Forget who was before Bollinger.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But and you got to think, like, I wonder if it has anything to do with, once again, purely speculative, the financial stuff with KTM. Like, I wonder if Grant has some type of additional bonus for winning overalls or overall podiums from XC2, and if they might save a little money with him going to XC1. But I know before he mentioned he wanted to move straight into XC1 and get on with the thing, and then it sounded like it's tough for me to think that KTM's going to give it up an opportunity to have a number 1 plate on a bike on the track and have 2 bikes with number 1 plates with XC1 and XC2. But from his situation, like, it is kind of interesting, especially if you do have an option to go XC1 or XC2, and what you would want to do in that situation.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I wonder. I mean, I guess they're going to be making decisions quick because photo shoot just happened.
Yeah.
So I guess you're about to find out.
Maybe they took pictures with both plates.
Yeah, just to say, hey, fuck you guys. You don't get to know yet.
I didn't think about the photo shoot.
Yeah, just call the Johnsons. Say, hey, what's your buddy doing this year?
I bet you can't guess who won
Rory Mead.
the XC2 championship the year before Bollinger.
Jason Thomas.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. I just didn't want to say it. Mainly
Mead in
because I don't want to give
2014.
him any credit for anything.
I think did Grant repeated, didn't he?
Grant who? Baylor?
Baylor.
I don't know. Caleb Russell did.
I thought Rory Mead won it in 2014.
Mm-mm.
Grant
That's
did.
the year he broke his neck.
Oof.
Yeah.
So he
Good
he
job,
did like
Craig.
way before then.
No, Rory Mead never won XC2.
I think he won some races. I don't know if he ever won a
I thought he won a
championship.
championship.
Mm-mm.
Maybe it was like
So then who won it in 2014?
Grant.
Grant.
Baylor?
That was his first year.
And then
Nah.
he moved straight up, didn't he?
Grant won it in 13 and 14,
Oh.
and then moved up, and then it was Jason Thomas, and then Bollinger.
So then Jason Thomas, did he win it in 2012 then? When was his first one?
He won it first in 2010 on a YZ250.
The year Strang won?
Or was it 09?
No. 2010 would have been Caleb.
No, I'm talking about XC2.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, 10
would
was-
have been Caleb.
He won it 1 year.
Yeah, hold on. I'm about to tell you. I think it was 2012. Yeah. Jason Thomas beat Stu Baylor in 2012.
Jason Thomas is going to try to sue the podcast for saying his name now.
That was the year that Stu raced the last race with a broke collarbone.
Sounds like a very Stu thing to do.
Yeah. Because he ran.
How did he finish a race with a broken neck?
Didn't know it was broke.
Still.
Absolute fucking tank.
Yeah, because 09 and 10 would have been Caleb. 2008 would have been Thad.
So Stu's photo shoot is Tuesday, so I guess we'll find out what the team is then for sure.
Are you going down for the New Year's celebration?
I don't know.
Are they doing that again?
Yeah,
But
it's
they're
gonna
doing
be-
it early. It's not on New Year's. It's
Yeah,
like
'cause-
the 29th and 30th or
Because
something.
New Year's is like Wednesday,
Yeah,
Something, I don't know.
in the middle of the week.
he told me to bring the limo down, but I'm scared it'll get flipped
Oh yeah, it'll
like
be-
a turd
don't
in the
take,
wind.
Don't
Something
take
will
that
happen.
thing down there.
Yeah,
That's too nice.
See if Strangle lets you take the beta rig.
he won't. I don't want to take it.
It's in California. All right. Anything else? We ended up going 2 hours.
Did we make it through the list?
I think so. I double checked. And
Tyler, are you racing dirt bikes any next year?
dude, I don't have time. You
You do.
find me a time to race and I would race.
Tom, are you racing?
I did 34 races this year.
Yeah, we bought a camper.
Are you gonna do 25 plus?
Brother, I turned 30 this year.
Shit.
Vet rider.
Next year.
Uh-uh.
But Vet A and 25 plus. 25 plus sounds better than Vet A.
Yeah.
You know what sounds even better than both of those?
Sportsman, eh?
Sportsman A.
Yep.
Nah, I do think
Craig,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, dude.
you got to chill out. This was
I
better
took
as a phone
NyQuil.
interview.
I took NyQuil an hour ago. I don't know what happened.
Nah, I don't. It's tough to do all the races and make it to work on one day. I think probably do all the local ones and then. This is
Jesus.
terrible.
Who invited him?
He invited himself. Actually, you invited him.
Tom, let's do National Enduros.
No.
I wish I could, but every Mideast is on every national. Enduro.
Well, that's where I was getting. I think the plan is to do the Mideast. I've never done all the Mideast. Done
That's
all the,
really.
it's a good series, dude.
done all the North Carolinas. Done all the GNCCs.
There's a lot of North Carolina
What-
rounds this year too,
Was gonna do
allegedly.
all the full gas this year, but I don't know. I don't even want to say that because I like the guys that run it, but
Yeah, me too.
it's I don't know. There's room for improvement, but they had a lot.
At
of
least it's still around and people have options.
Yeah, and I think the thought for this, like the style of series, is sweet.
Well, now they're not doing that anymore.
I heard it's all GPs. Yeah, which honestly, all the formats they did, I thought that was the funnest format. But the problem is you don't get a lot of riding time unless you do 2 classes, and it's expensive as fuck. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
I'm
Mid
not
East.
getting into that one.
I think the race I'm most looking forward to this year is that one up there at the horse farm.
It's not happening.
You're shitting me.
Well, what are you calling the horse farm?
The Mid East with the creek jump.
Yeah, not going back.
Bruh, are you serious?
Yeah. Not going back. That's been really good for me for social media the last couple of years too. I wanted to go back
Why?
for the creek jump video. I don't know.
You do.
I don't know.
I'm-
But there is a couple new tracks. I don't want to ruin it too early, but one might be a new North Carolina GNCC in the future. I was gonna say it earlier when you were talking about that.
No shit.
Out east. And then there's another one too that I
Out
also
east, like-
don't think I'm allowed to talk about.
Far out east in the sand.
Yeah. It was explained to me as Camp Coker before dirt bikes got to Camp Coker. Sounds like cool property.
You have really just deflated my excitement for racing next year.
Well, I don't want to throw out too many things, but I think this is pretty cool that we might be getting a new track that's in North Carolina that may or may not be on the property of a 3-time World Series champion. I don't care about baseball, but I think that's pretty cool. So,
Shit.
we got some stuff cooking.
3-time
but I don't
World
know.
Series champion.
From North Carolina.
Can we Can we petition to have a Middies at Steel Creek?
I don't see why we can't.
Has he tried?
I don't know.
Has
That's a good question to
Has
ask.
anybody pitched him the idea?
Because I think the EPA shut down the GNCC, so
Yeah, but
might not be a get around that.
Middies could do a race there. No,
Well, that's why
no.
That's why we
No,
quit
no, no.
racing at Enola Beach because of the EPA.
We're not racing. They don't race there anymore either.
No, it's the same county as Steel Creek. Got shut down because of the waterways.
You telling me Burke County really gives that much of a shit?
Yeah,
But Enola had bridges.
yeah. That's why the bridges were there, but then they still came back and shut it down. And the other side of the creek was too small to have the whole race at. But you could race without crossing the creek at Steel Creek.
Mid-East could.
Yeah,
You could have a local there.
yeah.
Because
I need to talk to them about that. That'd be cool.
I've
You know
said,
how many people would come to that?
how many people go to Mid-East as it is?
Yeah. I think we had 4 rounds this year, more than 1,000 riders.
That's nuts.
For a local, that's pretty crazy.
Can you tell, can we speak about this interesting stuff after we end this?
I think we talked about all the interesting stuff. But I think it is time to end this. Craig is going to die in my living room. I think he infected all of us.
Yeah.
His eyes are watering now.
You need to sanitize this.
Yeah, that was that's the one I just took out of the box today, too.
It's tainted.
Throw it away. Get a new one. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Big Tom, for coming over. Craig should have stayed gone. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for coming over. Thanks for telling us your KTM big rigging stories. Yeah. Be a friend, tell a friend, let somebody know about OTP. Once again, I'm not gonna promise shows every week for the next couple months, but we're gonna get back in the swing of things. I got some things lined up. Once again, look for that Liam Draper video coming out. Look for some other videos coming out here in the next coming weeks. Once January comes, we'll be heading down to Florida. Got a couple projects down there with people training in the sands of Florida to look out for. So, yeah, make sure you're tuned into the OTP YouTube channel. But we do have big plans. We do have big announcements coming up on the horizon. And next year, it'll be the best version of On the Pipe podcast you've ever seen. And that's because Big Tom's going to be joining me every week, I do believe, right?
Yeah.
He shook his head in agreement. I think we're good. Craig will pop in when he's not out of town at work and
We're
not having
sick.
COVID.
God almighty.
But, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next time on the Pipe Podcast.